Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another Tuesday night in the man cave. So I said last week that we were going to be doing some stuff with Harry, the boulevard. That hasn't happened because of the bloody weather here in Bendigo. Just rain and really cold. I was going to take us for a ride through Bendigo to see all the bloody buildings and all that kind of bloody bullshit. So that's not happening. I've been flat out doing bits and pieces, and you saw that experiment with the air duster cooling down the beers and the Jim Beam and all that kind of stuff. I've already pre-done this Thursday the Shit Easy motorcycle camp cooking, which I'll tell you about what's going to be happening that. So I've kind of asked myself around, and now it's the last minute to get this done. And this is actually Monday night, so I've got to get this filmed, I've got to get it edited, I've got to get it rendered, and then I've got to get it uploaded to YouTube so that it goes up at 6 o'clock tomorrow. So that's going to be a big ask for me, but hey, I'm up for the bloody challenge. So in this video, what we're going to do is, I'm just going to show you this. I've got this thing bloody sitting up here. It's like a big man box of bloody tissues. Seems to be something new that, what is it, Super Cheap Auto is now selling. I've seen it in other people's videos in workshops and stuff, like in the UK, in America, and I just happened to see I've never seen it before, and they're bloody fantastic. Anyway, I'll get into that stuff. I've got my bag that has all my sleeping gear and my tent and all that stuff. I want to, I don't know if everybody knows, but I never knew until Dave told me from Ballarat, when you've got a sleeping bag and you've got a blanket, what do? Do you put it on the outside or do you put it on the inside? So we'll have a look at that for extra warmth, obviously. For the whippersnappers useless bloody tip, I've got, we're going to do a soldering of wire. Now, I don't normally solder my wires, I tie them together. Sorry, that's Phoebe next door. She's bloody carries on, she's all right. Yeah, with this. Anyway, this is a hack for just doing. For people that don't know how to solder, or like me, and you've tried it and you just don't get it right, I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to do it that's kind of like, well, get the job done if you wanted to do the soldering. And then I'll actually point you to a video which a guy shows you how to do it. It's really, really well done, so it'd be worth having a look at it. What else we got? Oh, and the filming for on Friday, I'll be telling you what we're doing in that one. I think that's about it. Oh, and also this big bloody box is sitting on a tripod table. Something that I made years ago, actually. I don't use it that often, mainly because I'm not on bloody Harry doing the trips. So, yeah, I haven't been using it that much. But on the videos that I've showed it, I've never shown how I made it. So, and it uses that quick release camera thing that on there. Anyway, I'm going to show you what that is and how I made the bloody thing. Alright, so first of all, let's go and have a look at these tissues. Alright guys, so they're not tissues, they are shop towels. So there's 200, they come out like a tissue, but they're they call them shop towels. And I've seen things like this. Obviously, here in Australia, there's most probably been an industrial supplier that done it, but nothing that you could like go into a retail shop and buy off. Well, I've never seen anyway that you could buy off the shelf. But so there's 200 of these in this big box. You get them at Super Cheap Auto. They cost $20 for the box. There's 200 in there, so that's 1 cent for each one of these. Isn't that bloody? I reckon that's awesome. And they're like a super strength paper towel that you'd have in the kitchen or something like that. So there you go. Word of warning, they're flammable. Alright guys, so the next thing is this little tripod table. So this is sitting, it's attached to a tripod. Basically, it's off like that. Put it on. She's on. Booyah. And then, if you want to bloody change it around, that wasn't the fault of this table, that was the bloody tripod. Strong enough to sit that on there. Cool. So how I made it was basically This is actually my old signboard. You'll mostly get me sick of me saying, hang on. Things made out of my signboards. And I keep showing little bits of this. So this is like an old sign that I had for my business. So I just cut it up and made this thing. So you could make this out of plyboard or MDF. Just cut it to whatever size that you want. I've wrapped it in duct tape because I love duct tape. But the main thing is this little piece here that I've made. And you can make this out of wood, you just got to file the grooves. I take this off here. This is a universal quick release. So when you buy a tripod, it comes like this, has a quick release duvallaki on it already. And what your camera would normally attach to that, but what I do is I attach this quick release to that one. And I have that on all my bits and pieces so that because when you get a tripod, they're all different types of quick releases. They're not all the bloody same. So by having this one, I have it universal to run the cameras on whatever the hell I want to put it on. So yeah, that gets attached onto there. And basically that shape in there is what I've made. Made that. So that just basically sits in there and then locks down onto it. So that's basically how I've made the tripod stand. I suppose I should have said the uses that it was for. Basically, because it's on a tripod, I can adjust these things down. So I could sit on a chair and have it down low and then be eating my tea off it, or I could have it up at this height here and I could be cooking on it if I wanted to stand up. You can stick a laptop on it if you've got a laptop and you're camping and you want to watch something on your laptop, which you shouldn't. You should be watching the fire because you're getting away from all that crap. But yeah, it is a handy thing. But like I said, it's normally something that I would carry on Harry when doing those type of trips. Oh, and of course that universal camera mount, you can get that from camzilla.com.au. That's the only place that I've seen that actually sells that particular thing. And I think they go for about $29 or something like that. Anyway, look, there's the bloody the website. Alright guys, so sleeping bags. Oh. And if you have a blanket along, do you put it to the outside or do you put it to the inside? Now before I get into that bit, what do you guys reckon are the best bloody sleeping bags to use? I mean, I'm no expert at it. What I use, and that is I have the mummy style. So if you can see, it gets smaller down the bottom and then it gets bigger up the top and then it tapers in around here, and then obviously has that hooded thing where you can just bunch it right up. These ones also have that has that little extra bit to stop the draft, so the warm air that's in there, it doesn't just go straight out. That little flappy bit in there stops that hot air from escaping out, and that seems to work really, really well. This is a -10. My thought is that basically go as low as possible from a money point and also from a thickness point as well. Obviously, we want stuff as light and compact as possible. And if you want, it's a whole bloody money game, isn't it? The lower you go and the thinner to getting down low, it just costs an absolute bloody fortune. But my idea of is going as low as possible is that if you do get a hot night, you can just unzip it. I mean, you can sleep on top of the bloody thing, but when it's cold, you can't, it's just cold. There's nothing you can do really apart from throwing all your clothes on and then jumping in your bloody sleeping bag. So now the whole idea, I always figured I'd have blankets and I'd hop in the sleeping bag and I'd put the blanket over the top of the sleeping bag. I thought that's what you did. It wasn't until Dave from Ballarat, we were out at Whipperfeld, we camped out there the weekend, Anyway, the first night it was really bloody cold. Me and Nay were there, and we were actually crook. And we got really cold that first night. The second night, Dave said, put the bloody blanket inside the sleeping bag. He said it makes a whole difference. And I thought, oh, you what? This sounds like bloody stupid talk. But we did it. We put them inside. So we just tucked it all in there around, then you hopped in and you're in between it. And it was so much warmer, I couldn't believe it. And the theory or the idea behind it is that it's just filling up all that vacant air in there, which is the whole way that, you know, the thicker these are, the more trapped air that's in there. So if you've got a blanket and it's cold, don't put the blanket over the top of the sleeping bag, put it in the bag with you. So it fills up all that spare space in there. Which brings me to a funny story. I was out at Whipperfeld again, I think it was, or was it Murray Sunset? Doesn't really matter. So I was with Alistair, and Alistair doesn't actually sleep in his sleeping bag. He actually has it all unzipped and just puts it over himself or around him or whatever. I mean, obviously everybody's different. See, some people don't like the mummy ones because it's too constricting. Everybody's different, and you just work with what you got. But I thought that was strange that he just kind of like used it as a blanket until he told me what it was. The reason why he did it, as when he was a kid, he remembers his grandfather's just telling him, don't do your zippers up in your sleeping bag, because if you have to get up in a hurry, you're trapped in the bag. And that came from because his grandfather was in the war, and they never slept in the sleeping bag. They always had it unzipped for that very reason, that when they had to get up and into action, they could just throw that off and away they go. But if you're in it, as you know, when you're in a bloody sleeping bag, it's like zip it out, trying to bloody, get out of the bag. So that was really funny. And it's funny how when you're young, that people instill things into you, and that just carries through life. So Alistair still to this day doesn't zip up his sleeping bags. Alright, I just want to show you another thing with this bloody inline fuel filters. This time it's a good thing. Nay was going to mow the back lawn, and she noticed that the lawnmower had run out of fuel, and we didn't have any spare left. So instead of jumping in the car and going down a bloody servo and filling that up, I went, hang on a minute, Max will save the day. We'll just drain some out, and I thought that'll give me a good test to see how easy it will be to do that now that I have these on. Instead of before, when I've have to pull it, I've put my bloody hole in my finger, and they're just a real pain in the arse, and I break that T thing, only because I was being stupid. I mean, in the normal practice you can do it. But anyway, it worked a bloody treat. So I'm going to show you. So obviously I've got to turn me doovalaccy off, the other side's off. I'll get you in closer, hang on. Alright, so all I've got to do is undo this, and obviously I can use my multi-tool to do this, which is what I actually used the first time, but for simplicity I'll just use that. Pull that apart. So I was saying how these didn't fit on these little things. It didn't feel snug enough, but in actual it works okay using these. I was calling them worm clamps. They're hose clamps. So now all I've got to do is just turn this on, and hey presto, how easy is that? That was bloody easy. Turn her off, give the fuel to your mate who's run out, slip that back on there, and then just do this clamp back up. There you go, done deal. Alright guys, so this is a useless tip for the whippersnappers. Now I might get a lot of flack in the comments over this because it's all to do with soldering two wires together. Now what I would normally do, because I am absolutely shit at soldering, I'm sure it's the tool that I use, it's the bloody type of wire. I mean, I use Best Buy, it's most probably the cheapest shit you can buy. Because there's the whole flux, and then there's this tinning you got to do. That video that I'll tell you about, explains it. And I most probably will maybe get some decent stuff and have another shot at doing it. But what I would normally do is, so I've got 2 wires that I have to join. I would just spin these around like that. Stick them together. Now I know there's quite, you can mash them together, you can twist them like this, and then you can cross them like that, and then you can cross them like that and then turn them. You'll see that in the other video. I'm not going to do it. I'm just telling you what I would normally do is I just grab these like that and then just twirl them together. I'm being a bit rough at the minute, and basically one gets bent that way, and then I just duct tape around that, and that's it. That's all I do. That's on all my bikes. They're still bloody running. Everything's still working, and they're all done exactly like that. But hey, if you want to do it and you can't solder, now I actually learnt this from Nay's oldest son Matt, who is only, I don't know, he must be 25. So yeah, young people can teach old people things too. What he does, I'll bring it in closer. Alright, so basically what Matt does is he grabs a bit of solder, pre-wraps it. Oh, Jesus, that was a bit sharp. Pre-wraps it around the wire. Now I'll let you know, I've already tried this a couple of times and I've stuffed it every time. I don't know what the deal is. And then, hang on, I've got to move the dog. Pooks, move. Move away. I don't want this stuff dropping on her. Should be highly flammable. So now, all we've got to do is heat that up. And hopefully, this is going to work. Come on. Well, that doesn't seem to be working. Maybe I don't have enough heat in that lighter. It's alright, we'll bring out the big guns. There we go. Done deal. So there you can see, hopefully. Oh, there's the camera. Well, there you go, guys. That's actually soldered it. Very shonky. Soldering is just, it's my arch enemy. I can't solder for the life of me. But anyway, that's how it's done. You might be able to do it better than me than that. But anyway, look, there's a video that shows how to do the soldering. I'm going to have to just go, look, come on, let's try and do this, get all the right gear and have a bit of a practice and whatever. But that's why I never use the solder. I always just do that wire thing and that's it. It's just, this bloody soldering drives me nuts. So the video is, I think it's Chris Fix It or something like that. Here it is. Here's his page, and that's the video that you can see there. I'll put a link in the comments below of this video. If you're wanting to do soldering, check it out. It's a really good video. Cool. Alright, well there you go, guys. That's it for Tuesday night in the man cave. I know it's bloody, there was nothing. Oh no, I can't. No, I can't end it. I've got to tell you. So on this Thursday coming, I've got the Shit Easy motorcycle camp cooking. And what I do is cook up a spud, some hot dogs out of a tin, some chives, cheese. Obviously everything's again non-refrigerable. You don't have to refrigerate the bloody stuff. And I use foil in a pot, and I cut up, make chips out of the potato, and put it all in, and everything. Yeah, it's a really bloody. It turned out really good. I was really happy with the way it worked out. So that's this Thursday. On Friday, what we're going to do is the microphones. So we're going to look into. I'm going to use a fan and have different types of mics and cameras, and just kind of like hopefully what I'm hoping to do is to show what's happening and what you got to do to alleviate it. So using a fan on the microphone and then covering it with something that should alleviate it, blah 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 blah. That's what I'm hoping to have on Friday for you. Alright guys, so yeah, it wasn't much of a man cave tonight, but I'm just under the pump, but I wanted to get at least something out for you guys. Alright guys, keep on riding.